Good. So this is the end check. So we're starting with the back wheel there, following the frame up to the saddle, frame down to the bottom bracket, back up the frame to the handlebars, and then down to the front wheel. And as you can see, we get the shape of capital letter M. Starting at the bottom of the frame here, with the back wheel, you need to check that the wheel freely spins. Check that all the spokes are nice and secure, and also check it's got the correct inflation. You can find out what air pressure needs to be in the tyre. It should tell you on the tyre, this tyre needs a minimum of 30 psi to a maximum of 80 psi. Check that the tread of the tyre isn't worn, there's no cracks or anything. And we've already said to spin it and check that it's not buckled. Once you've checked all that on the tyre, that the rim's okay as well all the way around, move down to the back derailleur and check that it's away from the tyre, so it's not near the spokes and it's keeping the chain firmly out of the way. Then moving on up, you want to move up the frame here to the back brake block. Check that it's nicely aligned with the rim of the tyre and make sure it's not worn past the worn indicator line. Moving on up then to the saddle, check that the stem is the correct height and that it isn't past the minimum stem line that is a mark on the actual saddle post. Check that the saddle is nice and horizontal, and then moving down the stem here, you're going to come to the chain. You want to check that the chain isn't rusty, that the chain turns freely. Just move the pedals around and just check the whole chain isn't too loose or too tight. And then you come to the bottom bracket, and you need to just check that the bottom bracket is nice and secure. You do that by getting hold of the cranks and pulling them from side to side, checking there's no movement on that bottom bracket. Next, you need to check that the pedals are firmly on, screwed on and tight, both sides. And then you're going to move up the frame to the top, to the handlebar stem. Here you're going to check that the handlebars are nicely aligned and straight. Just check that they're on tight. Just put your legs around the front wheel, get hold of the handlebars, give it a good tug from side to side, and there should be no movement just there on the stem. It should be nice and secure. Check that that's the right height. It's not above the post line. You just look at the handlebars and you can see they're square. Next you're going to move and check the brakes. Starting with the front brake, just spin the wheel, should stop nicely, and those brakes shouldn't come fully back, those levers, to touch the handlebars, should be easy to reach. Do the same with the back brake, so spin the wheel, should stop nicely, and they look good. So then, you're moving down from the handlebars, down here, to the tyre, the front tyre, and you do exactly the same. Another tyre check. So spin the wheel, check that it spins freely, it's not buckled. Check all the spokes are nice and secure, they're not bent or anything. Check the rim, it's fitting correctly, and then check the tyres. Make sure they've got good tread depth, make sure there's no worn or bald patches. It looks good, and also always check that the tyres are secured to the frame. Here we've got a quick release lever on this side, so just check that that's locked off. You can do the same again on the back. And you're also now, once you've checked all the wheels, check the frame itself for cracks all the way along. And that's your end check.